make your day richer than it was before. Got some good times knocking upon your front door.
Hi everyone, we're back with Daniel Jakson, who is an intuitive reader. That what I think is fascinating, Daniel, is that it kind of started later in life officially, even though it's been going on your entire life. Is that correct?
Yeah, I've been seeing spirit ever since I was 3 years old, but I was always just told I was sensitive, but it wasn't until I was right before 50 that I found out that I was becoming a medium.
And so when this is happening when you're a young kid, like how do you
Oh,
figure that out in your head?
my family and I lived in a small town in New Jersey on the Delaware River, right across from Philadelphia, and there was a battlefield there. It was we called it the monument as kids, and it had a little hospital there, and this is where the Hessians fought. And so a lot of the people within that close proximity of that place were experiencing spirit as well as our home was. And but it wasn't just me that was seeing; it was my mom and dad, my two brothers, and my sister. So being around family uh, made it easier to cope with. But it wasn't until after that that experience when I was 17, my parents and I moved down to Delaware from New Jersey. I was the only one who was continuing to see things, and I see things all the time. I even now in my regular day, I don't ever not see spirit ever.
Can you talk or tell us like what do you see? There was an episode of a show I did a long time ago where someone had come over to my house for a party, and she was like, "Oh, like something crazy happened. A champagne bottle like blew open in a different room." And I was like, "What happened?" And she was like, "Oh, you don't know that you have a spirit upstairs?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she and I was like, I can't live here. And she was like, no, he's fine. He, like, like, and kind of explained to me that it's not like what you think of in the movie where it's like a guy with the chains and
Right.
that. So,
It's not.
yeah. Because that's, of course, what I went to of like this crazy person who's going to kill me upstairs of my house. But
Sure. Well, you were taught that. We were all taught that, so we would be scared of it, so we wouldn't try to communicate with them and actually find out what was going on. But no, they're not walking around in chains, and there's not a couple of them hanging out at Christmas time either. So no, and they're not bugging some old crazy guy. But they do bug people. Um, I see them as the same way we would see regular people. I see, but I don't just see people. I see dogs, cats, horses, cows, fish. I see other beings from other places, so I know this is not the only world that's populated with people or anything. But most of them don't look like people. The ones I see, they don't. They aren't anything that I can describe because they're not people. They're not human beings.
mm,
But the ones I see everything. I see what we would refer to as into heaven and just another realm. And I see the ones what we would call earthbound. It's just a low energy place. And when I see the ones who have crossed over into heaven, they look a little bit like us, except they're just a little bit more transparent than we are. And then the ones who have not crossed over are very transparent. But that's when I see them just walking around here when I'm in a dark room or I close my eyes or even looking in a dark TV or computer, I see them where they actually are, which is that lower energy realm. And the space behind them is dark black because there's no light there. And when I see them, their complexion is blue. They are because that's what the color of energy is, blue. So in the same way that I would see you, I just see them, but they're just blue.
wow. Do you did it what was the kind of process of like accepting that you were able to do this and that it like were there ever moments where it was like, oh my god, I like freaky for you that you can do it, or was it always just like part of life?
It was always part of life seeing them, and occasionally hearing them, but it wasn't until at that point, right before turning 50, uh, that I had to move forward with this or not. And the reason why I was coming into that is because my wife went away on vacation for 2 weeks, and for those 2 weeks, I saw everything in my house that you could ever imagine that was in a scary movie. And I needed to find out what was going on because I was seeing more at that point than I had ever seen. I saw them throughout my life here and there, but at this point, for those 2 weeks, I was seeing them all day and all night, and it wasn't exactly pleasant ones either. It was what we would think is scary. And so when my wife came back from vacation, she told me about her adventures, and I told her about mine. And so we decided we were going to try to figure out what was going on here. And then, so we did, and we did the normal thing. We would go online and look for information, but we didn't find much there. I had a paranormal group come to my house, but I didn't get, they got a lot of information, but I didn't get any help from them because by the time they got finished at my house, when they got out to my front lawn, they had all quit because they told me they don't get that kind of information from just one house. It usually takes 10 or 15. So
Gosh.
pretty much everybody who was living around my house was living next to the poltergeist house, magnified to the 10th power because there was a lot of crazy stuff going on. But then
Do
I
you still live
eventually
in that
met.
house?
What's that?
Do you still live in that house?
No, it's not the
Okay.
house anyway. It's me.
Okay. Okay.
So
okay.
as I explained to people now, if you want your house to be haunted, invite me in. It will be in 10 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, because they follow me everywhere. But spirit is everywhere, but they come around me for a specific reason, because my light is brighter than everyone else's.
Hmm. Do you
Because
think
they just follow that.
Do you think everybody has that ability? And
No.
No. Okay.
No, you either have this or you don't. You come into the world with it because you just came from a perfect place and you are a pure heart. But you basically learn the ways of the world from everyone else, and it's like throwing a bucket of bleach over top of you and washes it away. You get told all the lies and deception. But again, some of us are just meant to keep it while others aren't. As in the same way that some are just meant to be doctors and some people are just always going to be patients. In this form, some of us are just meant to be teachers, others are just meant to be students.
So can you talk a little bit about how you use this to help people?
I do readings for people, and I also teach people. But as far as the teaching goes and doing the readings as well, uh, I'm not like the other mediums that are out there. Most of them don't like me because I'm not the rainbows and unicorns. Everything is love and light and go along to get along type of medium. I don't, because I know everything about life is not love and light. Life is difficult and it can be very good, but you have to be proactive in that to make it very good. So when I do readings for people, the usual reading is they sit down in front of me. I tell them how everything works. I communicate with archangels. They're not men with wings and shields and swords by any means, but they are here to help us. But they give me answers. Do regular people have angels or archangels or what they call guardian angels? There is no guardian angels, because if it had an angel guarding you from everything in your life, you wouldn't learn anything, would you?
Mm.
And you don't need an angel to walk around and go get a cup of freaking coffee. You
Mhm.
just don't. Angels and archangels do things in big picture things. They're trying to get the whole world together and not just there with you so you can take 1,000 selfies and post it on Facebook all day long. They're not doing that. And
Yeah.
if you're doing that, you have a self-esteem problem. Go get that fixed. But I come, they sit in front of me. I hold their hand. Normally, when I do that, I close my eyes and I will see spirit animals in front of me, in front of that person or other spirit as well, and they act out to and show me what is going on with that person. And then, as I have my eyes closed, I tell that person what's going on with them, and usually by the time I open my eyes, they're looking at me like, "How did the hell did you know that?" And because you're talking to the freaking medium, that's how I know that. And but I get everything right. And then from that point on, I tell them how to fix that, because
Mm.
I'm not the same type of medium who's here to talk to your mom and dad and all that mumbo jumbo. I'm here to give you peace of mind and clarity, but I'm here to give you direction in your life so that you can learn all your lessons and fulfill your purpose and go home and not have to come back and do this all over again, because everyone comes back over and over again. It's not like reincarnation, what we think it is. It's reincarnation because you're coming back because you didn't fulfill your purpose. And your purpose is not becoming a doctor or a lawyer or a teacher. Our purpose is we are here to help each other just for the sake of helping, not because you can, but because you should. In a way, we're going to help someone to do something they cannot figure out for themselves, or you're doing it for them, or you're helping God's creation where you're in a car, you see a dog in the middle of the road, and you're going to make one of the choices. You're going to say, I don't have time for that because I'm late for work. If you're late for work, you know what, get up earlier and go to work earlier. But the other choice is you can go and help that dog and maybe find its owner or get it into safety. That is fulfilling your purpose. It is little things, because anyone out here who's going, oh, look at me, my purpose is this. That's your ego. That's what that is. And people who fulfill their purpose the most in this world are the people you don't hear from very much, because they don't need to be pat on the back. The people who need to be pat on the back are looking for attention.
Mm.
And that's what causes you to come back over and over and over again.
Wow. Who's the type of person that usually reaches out to you?
The age group is usually within the low to mid 30s up into the 60s and 70s. I have all kinds of people. The range of people that usually come to me is probably about maybe 98% women, and the other 2% are men. I don't have a lot of men come up because they're afraid to sometimes be as vulnerable as they need to be, because when they come up and sit in front of me and I start getting the messages that they need, because as I always say, you may not get the reading you want, but you will get the reading that you need. And you will get the messages that you need, because everybody comes up, what do my angels have for me? Well, you don't have angels. You have spirit guides. And if you would listen to them, they would tell you to stop posting Facebook selfies all the time. But the type of people are coming to me because they have something that's going on in their lives that they just can't seem to figure out. And they come to me because, as I always say it, because I'm speaking with archangels. So in other words, I'm getting answers from God. So people want to come to me because they want an answer from me, because they want an answer from God. But they always have a little bit of a hard time with that, because people just don't like the truth. It's not a truth that fits into their life. And that's what they've been following their entire lives. And that's why they're now coming to me, because that hasn't been working.
Do you do stuff like virtually as well?
Yes, I can do virtual readings, just like here, doing it on a Zoom. But I prefer to do it in person, because I get more of a better connection, because I'm sitting with that person. I'm connecting directly with that person. And there's other things that I do in person that I don't do over a Zoom call or something like that. And one of those things that I call is a soul alignment. So in other words, I have that person who's sitting in front of me turn around, and then I close my eyes and then I look into them, and I can see their soul. And sometimes their soul is out of alignment because of us stressing ourselves out, and sometimes it's crooked. It's supposed to be a little bit more level, but and when it's there, then I can fix that for them.
Wow. Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, like the difficulty of either transitioning into doing virtual stuff, or just how, if it was more difficult to do it when they're not in a room with you.
Just some things I can, or I do while being there in front of them. Like I said, doing the soul alignment, and just they seem to become a little bit more intimate with me when they're sitting directly in front of me. But I do have some people who do try to trick me, especially when they're doing the virtual ones. But that doesn't work out very well for them, because usually people try to trick me in a way. Like I had a woman come on my show one time. I was doing a live show, and she asked me, she said, can you talk to my brother, find out some information about my brother who's passed away and all this other stuff. But the first question I'm asking, I'm talking to my spirit guides, because they touch me on my face. This is yes, coming across my eyebrow or another spot in my face. And it feels like a tear running down my face, and that's no. And the first question I'm asking, as they're asking questions, is this person telling me the truth? And this one woman was not telling me the truth. And so when she finally got done with her question, I said, I'm sorry, I can't answer that question. And she came out and said, I knew it. You were fake. I knew it. I knew this is what you were going to do. And I said, no, I can't answer that question for you, because your brother's not dead. And she just looked at me, and I said, correct? And she said, I said, is that correct? And she said, yes, he's not dead. I said, good, get off my show.
Wow.
Because I don't play games.
Yeah.
I'm not the rainbows and unicorns. I'm not going to tell you everything is wonderful. There's so many other misconceptions out there. People come to me and ask me about their soulmate. No, because your soulmate is not absolutely someone you're going to fall in love with. A soulmate is just another soul that you were best buddies with back at home, and then you're both here again. A soulmate could be your mom and dad, could be your best friend, could be a dog or a cat. But the world and TV and movies want you to believe that soulmate is absolutely going to be someone you're going to fall in love with. I even had a woman who I did a reading with who came to me about that. And she said, "Oh, I met my soulmate." I said, "No, he's not your soulmate." And I tried to explain that to her, but she didn't get it. And then we went on to the rest of the reading. And then I saw her again 2 years later. I said, "Hey, how's that soulmate doing?" And she said, "Oh, that piece of crap, he was cheating on me and all this stuff." I said, "Soulmates don't do that." That's how I knew. But I tried to explain it to her, but they don't want to listen.
I don't want to put you on the spot, and you could say no, but is there, like, can you do something here with me or not?
Yeah, sure. You just have to ask me a specific question.
Oh gosh. I haven't thought of that. What's my specific question? Let me think. Let me get rid of this banner. My specific question. I'm gonna go with, let's see, I quit my job this year to do this full time, and it felt like this is what I'm supposed to be doing and what I'm good at. So
You shouldn't have quit your job.
okay.
It's going to work out, but you need that backup plan to keep everything going. You're going to find that out in about 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah. So go get another job, Richard.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. Good. And then we'll book you in 6 months, and I'll if I still have the show or if I'm busy at my other job.
Oh, you'll still have the show, but you'll find out it's going to be difficult to just do the show.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
In order to sustain yourself and sustain yourself, it'll be a little bit difficult to just do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know. Good.
Yeah.
How can people connect with you and follow you and reach out to you?
If they want to get a reading with me, they can find me at www.spiritmediumdaniel.com. I do 2 types of readings. I have one that is a standard reading, and that is someone who is just coming there to ask me questions. And the second type of reading is a mediumship, where other mediums will come to me and they're trying to move forward with something they feel inside of them, but they're not quite sure how that's going to work for them. So I will have what's called the big talk with them and describe everything that's going to happen to them and for them in order to move forward with this ability they have. And they can, but the reading is the same cost. It's $150, and it's for usually it's for 2 hours, but sometimes they last for 3 or 4 hours. And at that point, I don't charge them any more than that, because for me, it's not about making a bunch of money. It's about helping as many people as I can. If they want to read about my book, I have a book called Daniel Jakson, The New Beginning, My Awakening as a Spirit Medium. And that is basically a chronological story about how everything happened to me and for me, all the ghost stories you want to hear, and some of them you don't want to hear. And they can find that on Amazon. Just go to Amazon and put in Daniel Jakson, The New Beginning, My Awakening as a Spirit Medium. The paperback is $8. The ebook is $6.49. And I would appreciate it if you do buy the book and you like the book, please put a review on there. It really does help us. Also, we have a podcast called Beyond the Veil with Daniel Jakson. Me, that's how I started. And they can find that podcast now on a brand new streaming network that's going to go live soon called the Ethereal Network. And you can find that at etherealtv.net.
Perfect. You're a busy guy.
I'm trying to be. I'm trying to help as many people as I can because that's what we're here to do. We're here to take care of each other, and we should figure out the big one, which is we all live on the same planet, and no one's going anywhere anytime soon. So we better start to get along with each other before we annihilate each other. I want us to get together. You know.
So true. So true. Daniel, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate
Thank
it
you
so
for
much.
having me on, Richard. I appreciate it. And I still have that song stuck in my head. Thanks.
We play the theme song before we start, and now he's mad at me.
It's okay.
SpiritMediumDaniel.com is the website. Daniel Jakson, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, sir.
We'll be right back after this.
In this world of innovation, would you rather have an old, outdated flip phone or a brand new iPhone? A horse and buggy carriage or the newest luxury hybrid? A dial-up router with your AOL account or a super fast Wi-Fi hotspot? With nutrition, what you have been using or taking up until now hasn't been bad. There's just something newer. We all appreciate advancements in science and technology. In the same way we seek the best and newest in our electronics, vehicles, and everyday conveniences, wouldn't you also want the best technology and newest innovation for your nutrition and supplementation? At the time, you may have had the best from what was out there and available. Now, there is something better and newer, more bioavailable, more convenient, better tasting, faster acting. It literally is the equivalent to getting an IV full of high-tech nutrients right into your bloodstream, without the needle, without the appointment, without being attached to anything for a specific length of time. Simply pop these tasty, all-natural lozenges into your mouth and savor as they instantly start to absorb into your bloodstream through your mucous membranes. That's it. And with the added benefit of negative ions, in other words, energy, there isn't anything else out there on the market like it. Now is the time to switch to the next improvement and innovation in health and nutrition. It's time for advancement. It's time for better. It's time for APL Go and our rapid botanical DNA drops.
Welcome back, everybody. Hopefully we have a new microphone that I'm using, so fingers crossed you can hear me. And if you can't, please throw a comment if you're watching this live and let me know so we can run to a break and switch microphones. So we filmed that interview with Daniel a couple weeks ago, and I asked him that question about the show, and the answer was kind of shocking to me, if I'm going to be honest. And so part of me almost edited that out because, I was a little afraid to put that out there. But then I thought, you know what? That's going to be a good check-in for me and for him in 6 months. So I'm hoping to have him back in 6 months. And we'll see where we're at here on this little program we call Make Your Day Richer. So there you go. So reach out to him if you'd like to connect. Hey, speaking of another job, I do actually have another job. I produce and edit podcasts and live streams for other people. And one of them is called Everyday Enchantment, and it's with Stacey Andon, who has been a guest on this show. And she has a new episode out this week, so I wanted to give you a little clip of it. It's available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. So take a look at this clip.
So the subconscious programming went, okay, communicate well for an hour. And, sometimes it's counterproductive, and sometimes, if we think about it too hard, and that's why I like the jewelry aspect, because you can be like, okay, and then you put it on and you forget about it. Because if you focus too hard on it, you're going to do the opposite, and you're going to be like, you're going to spaz a little bit. You may communicate worse.
Well, you put too much pressure on expectation and attachment, right? So it's like trusting. Again, I think part of where anxiety meets intuition meets like a new earth alchemy into ways forward is really being able to build that relationship of trust, and to be able to, again, give yourself permission, like you said, to write the script that's really going to support you, and also hold it in this whimsy, right? Like we're all making it up as we go.
All right, I got to note that nobody can hear me, so maybe this will help a little bit, but we'll just end the show and we'll fix it for tomorrow's show, because why would a show be 100%, In other news, though, in our rosy moment of the day, it's the Tony Bennett CD, The Playground, which she was in. He had a bunch of duets it's a kid's album, and she was on that way back in, I don't know, probably 1999. And it's a fun little album. So there we go. I have it and I listen to it all the time. All right, we'll just go, and I'll tell you about all this other stuff tomorrow. I love you all. Go do something good for yourself today and make your day richer, will you? We will be back tomorrow with an all-new show. I love you. Bye-bye.